In 1915, the world was in chaos. World War I was being fought on all fronts, and nations were grappling with a range of challenges. During this chaos, the issue of censorship in the film industry presented itself. This video will explore the profound impact of censorship during these years and its implication on free speech in the quote-unquote business. To understand censorship in 1915, we must first examine the global context. As previously mentioned, World War I was in full swing, and they saw the opportunity to turn the media of film into a business. As quoted from Chapter 7, page 116 from the reading, quote, "The Supreme Court's decision in 1915 that the film industry was a, quote, business pure and simple, end quote, denied cinema protections of freedom of speech that were granted to other media." This created a ton of issues for filmmakers in these years. Trying to traverse the muddy waters of censorship became too difficult to handle. This is why they decided to create the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors Association, or the MPPDA for short. Created in 1922, this allowed them to mediate some complaints about the content of some films, as well as offer suggestions to ensure that the films were more wholesome. During the following years, there were plenty of instances where citizens were concerned with the quality of the films that were being produced. For example, there was a study called the Pain Fun Study that showed children who were watching some movies were affected in their ability to study, their emotions, attitudes, and their behaviors. Another example is a group of religious leaders called the Legion of Decency that advocated for a boycott of said films. This was all noticed loud and clear during the year of 1933, especially seeing it was the Great Depression, and lots of studios were facing the brink of bankruptcy, and it spelled disaster for them all. One of the religious leaders that was previously mentioned, named Joseph Breen, became in charge of a new industry body named Production Code Association, or PCA. This new body made sure that the censorship went the way that they wanted. Previously, the other organizations would simply monitor the scripts, and some films would even be able to sneak things in, whereas the PCA would have to watch the final product in order to give it a, quote, seal, which allowed the films to be released. Their new criteria was called the Production Code, in which they monitored things such as sexual content, language, alcohol, drug consumption, and even stereotypes. This is comparable to the current situation that is book banning. It first began in 2021 with parents from across the country challenging books that they believed were inappropriate for their children to be learning in school. This began a chain reaction that leads to today with hundreds of banned books that include, but are not limited to, Animal Farm, Where's Waldo, and Lord of the Flies. All banned for similar reasons as the films being monitored by the PCA or the MPPDA. This limits the creators to use the freedom of speech that is granted to them in the United States Constitution. Whether it is right or wrong is another discussion entirely, but it's good to know where this history of censorship comes from and how to move forward. Thank you so much for watching.